Welcome back. Let's identify together the structures of the brain ventricles. This right here is the lateral ventricle. We have two lateral ventricles. We have one third ventricle in the brain and one fourth ventricle. Don't confuse the ventricles of the brain with the right and left ventricles of the heart. This right here is the septum pellucidum. This is part of the brain which separates the two lateral ventricles. This is the anterior horn of the lateral ventricle, whereas this is the inferior horn of the lateral ventricles. Right here we have the interventricular foramen. The ventricles are a space in the brain. They are all filled with the cerebrospinal fluid. The interventricular foramen allows the cerebrospinal fluid to circulate between the lateral ventricle and the third ventricle. This right here is the cerebral aqueduct. Cerebral from cerebrum, aqueduct for the fluid, which is the CSF, to pass from the third ventricle to the fourth ventricle. And this right here is the central canal. So the fourth ventricle, it narrows and gives the central canal, which runs through the entire spinal cord. Both the brain and the spinal cord, they belong to the central nervous system. On the lateral view, we can see the lateral ventricle. We have two lateral ventricles, as we mentioned earlier. One third ventricle and one fourth ventricle. Notice that the third ventricle is at the level of the diencephalon, where the thalamus and the hypothalamus is located, whereas the fourth ventricle is at the level of the cerebellum and the pons. This right here is the anterior horn of the lateral ventricle. This is the posterior horn, and this is the inferior horn. The lateral ventricle is connected to the third ventricle via the interventricular foramen. And this right here is the cerebral aqueduct. In the previous video, we mentioned the choroid plexus, which is a collection of blood vessels that are located. One was in the third ventricle and the other one was in the fourth ventricle. They secrete and they drain the CSF. And this right here is the central canal. I hope you found the video helpful. Check out my next video on identifying the 12 cranial nerves.